Okay, today I'm upgrading my hose on my ARB air compressor right there. I know there's not a hose on it because it was all cracked and blown. So here is the old hose. It was a couple years old and you can see that it's starting to crack. And the hose went down the motor, under the fender, around the front of the fender, and then into the front bumper right here. So we are changing to this braided hose right here, and we are going to use the ARB air chuck, whereas before we had a Milton air chuck, but I kind of like the ARB one better, so we're going to give it a shot. So we're going to start putting the connectors in. I bought a whole kit and it came with this manifold, and this manifold had a couple inserts that went here off of the air compressor there. And so, but we're not going to use the manifold, we don't need it, so we're just going to use those same inserts, and we're going to put an insert right here, and then we're going to hook the hose up, we're going to feed it down, we're going to zip tie it to the side of the body, and then we're going to put another insert right there, and then the chuck will go in there. So we're going to wrap it with thread lock tape, and we're going to wrap each insert 4 times in the opposite direction of the way it screws, so counterclockwise, and then hook the hose up. So I'm going to get all the pieces out and start putting the Teflon tape on and get the inserts installed. So we'll be right back. Here are the inserts I'm talking about. This is the side that goes into that coupler, and then this is the side that the hose goes onto. And you can see it's kind of beveled on the end. And then this is the same exact coupler or insert, and we're going to put it underneath where I showed you on the bumper. So we're going to wrap this with Teflon tape really quick. So the correct way to do this is to wrap it in the opposite direction that it screws in. I don't think it's that big of a deal if you don't do it, because it's kind of difficult, but I always try and do it. So, and then I kind of get it on there tight, pretty tight, and then try and avoid covering the hole on the bottom. So we're going to wrap this 4 times pretty tight. My Teflon tape is about the size of the threads. So you still want to see the threads when you're wrapping it. You don't want any air to leak. Okay, that's about 4 times. So we're going to break that off and then push it down there really tight. So it looks pretty good, right? So now we want to do the same thing with the other side, because it will be really hard to put Teflon tape when it's installed. So we're going to roll that on there. I don't really want to cover that beveled mark so that I don't have anything interfering with the hose. So that's about 4 times. So we're going to break that off, and then you can see I kind of got a little on the bevel part, so we're just going to kind of push that down. Okay, and let's screw it in. Let's move you a little bit closer. Sorry about the shakiness. Alright, it's going to focus. Okay. So we're just going to screw this in right here. Sometimes it's kind of hard to get started when you have the tape on it. So it's started. And wouldn't you know it, I don't have his right size wrench. Okay, there we go. So we're just going to get that in there. We don't want to over tighten it, we're just going to get it tight. A little bit tighter. Alright, I think that's good. Okay. Now, there's also a plug that came with that manifold. So let's see if I can dig that out. It is right here. Just to see if we can focus that in. Well, it's just a plug. Can you see it? Yeah, I think you can see it. Just a plug. So we're going to put a little Teflon tape on it, and then we're going to stick it right on the top of there. Hopefully that will come in. I'm going to go grab the right size Allen wrench for it. This one's going to be a little harder to wrap. This one's going to be a little bit harder to wrap, but we'll get it. So we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to wrap this one about 4 times in the opposite direction of the way that it screws in. Get it nice and tight so you can still see the threads. It's crazy it's not focusing. Woo! How about that? Well, maybe we'll just have to edit that out and just screw that in. Okay. Not sure what's going on. Anyways, we'll go back over here. Alright, and we'll put the plug in the top. Start with our fingers, and then we will push it in with an Allen. Not too tight, we'll just get it tight enough. Alright, that's good. That's all set up. Okay. The hose is pretty symmetric. Both ends look the same. Okay, let's unravel it. Okay, here's the hose. We're going to put this end on the end there, on the compressor, and then we're going to go down around the master cylinder, and we're going to tie it to the body, and then we're going to go, can you see it down on the frame? Then we're going to go along and tie it on the body, and it's going to come out under the fender in that little area right there, and then we're going to wrap it around the front bumper, and we're going to put it on the end right there. So I don't have that end ready. I'm going to go wrap that and get that installed, and I'll be right back. So this one we're going to have to put on with an extension and a deep socket. Let's see if we can get it started with our finger first. It's difficult because we can't see it. Okay. Let's give it a tighten. Want to get it nice and tight, but not over tight. It's pretty tight. And then we will get the hose started. And we'll just put it on loose in case we need to take it back off. So there, it's started and loose. We're going to run it through the old sway bar bushing. We have a knee sway bar. So let me get this tightened up and zip tied, and then I'll come back and show you how it all went. Okay, here's the finished product. Here's the air hose. It goes over the master cylinder and then down the body, and then it's zip tied. Hope you can see that. It's double zip tied there, and then zip tied right there. I didn't cut the ends off so you could see the zip ties. And then from there it goes under the overflow bottle, and then it comes out the fender in the old sway bar hole into the mount or into the chuck. And then I ended up using the Milton chuck. I tried to use the ARB one, but it was broken. I don't know what's wrong with it, but it doesn't move. So I put the Milton one on it. So let's go in and turn it on. So we're going into the Jeep. The key's on, we can see. And then we will turn on the switch. And that fires it up. Now it's full of air. And sounds like my chuck's leaking a little bit, but we have a hose and some air, and it's working. Let's see if it's the air hose that's leaking or the chuck. Oh, there's a hole right there. I can feel it. Ah, that's lame. There's a hole in my hose. Lame. Gotta get a better hose. Alright. No more air leak. Alright, we'll just put the cover on and we'll call it a wrap. So we upgraded from this old crappy rubber hose to this braided steel hose, and it works good. And then when I tested my hose, I found out my hose is bad. So I need to get another hose. But at least we found that out now and not when we were out in the wild. Alright, thanks for watching. Do something amazing. See you in the next one. Bye.